Who here remembers the Lincoln Project? There we go. Do you guys remember that? It was like those principled Republicans who were opposed to Trump, and it turns out they didn't do anything and they sucked and nobody cares, right? Well, they had a little Joker moment, it seems, and I do think it's incredibly funny. I won't lie. The Lincoln Project sent a group posing as white supremacists with tiki torches to a GOP campaign event in Virginia ahead of the state's gubernatorial election. Which, I mean, the title kind of sums up the content of the article, doesn't it? But yeah. A group of people carrying tiki torches turned up to an event for Republican gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin? Okay. In Charlottesville, Virginia. Posing in front of his tour bus. Turns out they were sent by the Lincoln Project, an anti-Trump Republican group. And of course, yes, the tiki torches are, sort of a reference to the 2017 Charlottesville protest. Yeah. Local NBC reporter Elizabeth Holmes shared a photo of the group on Twitter, reporting they said something that sounded like, "We're all in for Glenn," which is fantastic stuff, you know. And people online quickly began to suspect there was something strange about it. Really? You think? Okay, I know that Lincoln Project is basically like the poster child for political obliviousness, but folks, first of all, the tiki torch thing was an embarrassment. The white supremacists in Charlottesville wanted regular torches. They only had tiki torches because that's all that was available in the area. Torches are not like an easy thing to come by normally. We don't use torches. We have flashlights. But they had tiki torches at like the Walmart. But that wasn't their first choice. That wasn't like the first thing they wanted there, you know? So it's like, yeah, dude, this is like an actual false flag. Yeah, dude, we're totally white supremacists. And they all dress up, you know, with the white shirt and the brown shirt, you know, and we have a black guy there, which is really good. I always wonder why they didn't just like break them in half to regular sized torches. That's not really how torches work. First of all, tiki torches have bamboo staves, which don't light great. And second of all, you can't just light a stick on fire. If you want a torch to go for hours, you need them to be built in a certain way. These tiki torches, as you can see, they have like basically like a little lantern at the top. And proper torches, they have fuel and like appropriate. It's like a whole thing, you know. Not easy to just construct one. If you do a bad job, you'll torch yourself and blah blah. Anyway, the point I'm laboriously getting at, apart from the fact that Shu posted really the only relevant information pertaining to all of this, that feel when no curvy false flag fed GF. Thank you as always, Shu, for really cutting through the bullshit and delivering the information that we actually care about. Thank you very, very much. Filling out those pants. So to move past mocking this, the Lincoln Project essentially did a false flag in order to implicate Glenn, the gubernatorial candidate, who, to be fair, is extremely cringe, as I understand it. And this is really bad. This is extremely bad. If you want to, we can look at like Glenn's policy positions. Yes, young cringe, exactly. Here, here. Glenn Youngkin, bring it up. What do we got for my man Youngkin for governor? Youngkin. I can't say that name. Youngkin. Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin. Go. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Political positions. An opponent of abortion, spoke out against gun laws, NRA, opposes mask and vaccine man. It's a Republican. Why am I bringing this? If they're running as a Republican, we probably don't like them. Look, the point is, okay, it really delegitimizes sincere accusations of racism against Republicans when you are so desperate to find evidence of their racism that you are sending people out there to fake affiliation while LARPing as a as a white supremacist. I think that's extremely stupid. Vaush, that's the point. The Lincoln Project is a bunch of Republicans. Yeah, they're anti-Trump Republicans. Look, there are two angles that you can take from this, okay? One of them is that the Lincoln Project, which is internally, I'm sure, a complete clusterfuck, wanted to prove racism, blah, blah, so they sent guys over there and it got found out. The other possible narrative is that the Lincoln Project deliberately opted this false flag thing in order to delegitimize accusations of racism against Republicans. But if that was the case, why was it so easy to tie to them? I think I actually have a really consistent, solid, and bulletproof explanation for this whole thing. They're fucking idiots. I really do. Honest to God, I think that's the most that you can draw from this. Some dumb fuck at the Lincoln Project had a thought and then, went back to his daily slamming the refrigerator door on his head ritual. And after doing that for just a few hours, tried to recall what he had thought before the ritual. And they went with that. Okay. They went with that. How do you know it's a false flag and not a joke? Well, because it wasn't really posited as a joke. It seemed like a pretty deliberate effort to frame this guy, but yeah, it's an odd joke. Whatever the case may be, I think behavior like this is pretty goddamn bad. Here's the thing, folks, and I've seen other people talk about this too, like, why doesn't the left, do to them what they do to us? Because we know what they do to us, right? At BLM rallies, we know there are far-right types who infiltrated. Cops do this. They'll pose as protesters and then incite violence from the protesters' side to give cops legitimacy when they engage in a crackdown. We know they engage in behavior like this. The thing is, I think our opponents, especially with regards to racism, are bad enough that we don't ever need to fake anything anyway, right? I mean, we can sidestep this entire discussion. Should we engage in? We don't need to. Why would we need to? There's plenty of evidence of it anyway. We don't. We don't. It's like it's like, well, is it morally right or wrong? It doesn't matter because we don't need to. It's like asking whether or not it'd be morally right or wrong to save the left by blowing up this bridge. You don't need to. It's a normal bridge. What does the bridge have to do with anything? What did you just want to blow up a bridge for fun? No, we don't need to. Why? We don't even need to have this conversation. The problem is nobody cares about how bad they actually are. Well, some people do, but we do need to be more effective in getting the majority of the population to understand our concerns. Republicans are great at that. Tucker Carlson is a great vehicle for instilling in your average Republican what is essentially Nazi ideology, at the very least white nationalist, But we don't really have apparatuses like that on the left in the same way. The closest that I would say we have is John Oliver. Imperfect, but I do believe that he touts a lot of leftist causes in ways that do get widespread liberal support. And, I don't agree with everything he's done and said, but I think that's no doubt a net benefit. I think we need to be good at doing stuff like that too. I feel like we have a lot that we can learn from the Black Lives Matter protests as well. What elements of the BLM protests registered really well with most Americans and which didn't? When you look at stuff like that and think about stuff like that, I think it becomes more clear which issues we need to focus on, not in terms of what's most important to overcome, but what's most important to frame in a way which is rhetorically effective. And none of this has anything to do with paying people or asking people to show up with the damn tiki torches, okay? This is just silly. But it's the Lincoln Project, so I don't know.